do that. And today, I think Shelby's really going to focus on what are the products that help you with that strategy for civic engagement. And we're going to specifically look at ArcGIS Hub, at the solutions that are included with the software that you all have, and then Survey123 specifically as a product that everyone has and can use to try and meet those goals as well. And I'm going to hand this off to Shelby so that she can actually show you what we're talking about. Stop sharing my screen.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Karen.
Thanks, Shelby.
I echo what Karen said about thank you so much for having us and for joining today. I recognize a bunch of names on the call, so thanks for being here. So I'm going to talk about tools and capabilities to help you and your communities achieve civic engagement. All the tools that I will talk about and show today are part of ArcGIS Online, and for the most part come with your subscription to ArcGIS Online. I will point out where there is a capability that is an additional cost. But the goal here is to interact with your community as a local government or a regional government or a state government. Or another type of organization for that matter, but I'm assuming that most of you guys are with government. And so just to kind of reiterate what the goal is here, the first goal is to create a destination, right? A place for members of the public or neighboring organizations, folks to easily, that is easy to discover, easy to use, clean and clear, presents information in an organized manner. The second goal is to create understanding, right? So that you're engaging the audience with either a story about a project or an initiative, or with the right information to convey what's happening. And then of course, when we bring in the location aspect, it makes it more relevant for people, right? So if you show where something's happening, people can relate, as it relates to where they live or where they work or where they commute or whatever it is. Also, and then the third goal is to promote participation so that you can provide an opportunity to interact, maybe to volunteer or even just to fill out a simple survey to be able to communicate back to your government. And then another way to promote the participation is to highlight the success of projects and initiatives. The first thing I'm going to do here, guys, is I'm going to show some examples from across the state of New Mexico of where you have used Esri to engage your communities. There are so many great Esri users in your community that it's exciting to be able to do that. The next thing I'm going to do is provide an overview of ArcGIS Hub and then Survey123. And then I will talk about a third aspect of ArcGIS, which are ArcGIS Solutions. And then I will kind of, we'll do a little bit of demo and look under the hood of each of those products and capabilities. So with that, I will share my screen. And can you see my Albuquerque Coronavirus Hub?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so I'm going to start with the city of Albuquerque's Coronavirus Data Hub. This is built on using ArcGIS Hub and is a destination for people to come to learn about what's happening with the pandemic. This website is clean and clear and easy to use. Starts out with some important statistics from Bernalillo County and the entire state of New Mexico. You can see that the data is updated today, so they're really keeping on top of it. These statistics are looking to an underlying database to be updated. So nobody's actually getting in here and changing the numbers. They're looking to underlying feature classes. The first dashboard that Albuquerque's put on their coronavirus data hub is a great one. They call it Albuquerque's bright spots. Oops, sorry guys. And it's looking at kind of things that are positive around the pandemic. What is going well, and resources to help folks out. On the right-hand side, we can see they're pulling positive leaning articles from the media. On the map, we can see Wi-Fi access points. We can also see meal sites available across the city. And of course, showing the location of the sites brings the relevancy to the people that need them. I can click on a point and read about where this meal site is and what's offered there. They have links off to other resources. And then there is a dashboard that describes the cases that are happening across the state, as well as some relevant statistics. They have brought in, updates from the mayor, social media feeds. And then the next thing I want to point out is that they've actually made their data available for download so that you can really drill in to understand. Let's take a look at this Albuquerque Public Schools Wi-Fi locations. So this is a capability of ArcGIS Hub. They've leveraged the open data capability to enable, a citizen or anybody from the public. You don't need an account to come in here. I can explore the data. I can click on points, see their attribution. I can actually look at the underlying data table. And I can download the data in these different formats. I can also grab the REST, like the web service endpoint, the REST endpoint, and pull that data into my own web GIS. So that's another capability of ArcGIS Hub. So great job, City of Albuquerque. Next example is from City of Santa Fe. And they have put out a Survey123 form to capture non-emergency problems from the public. And what I can do is I arrive at this form and I want to report on a park problem. So I click on that category of problems, and the subsequent questions are now all about parks and trail problems. I can continue, to say there is broken equipment. I can describe the issue. And then I can drop a very, accurate point on the map that this, broken equipment is right in this location in that park. I can attach images to the survey, and then I can go ahead and submit the survey. Santa Fe has also put out to the public a dashboard that explains the resolution of these various problem reports that are coming in from the public. So I can even drill in. I'm not sure where that park was that I just dropped that fake point, but I can click on, maybe the issue that I reported or something else that's in my neighborhood to see what's happened with its status. This is an ArcGIS dashboard. It's really neat. I can also filter the data. Maybe I want to look at work orders that have been received but are not yet resolved. You'll notice when I click on that piece of the pie, the rest of the dashboard has filtered to only work orders that are in that received status. I can do something similar with the problem types. So if I just want to look at graffiti related reports, I can do that. So pretty comprehensive view of what's happening in Santa Fe with their work orders. Next example is from City of Rio Rancho, where they're making available their road sweeping schedule. And it's just so easy to understand the data that they're conveying when you look at this app, right? So I could say, okay, I live in this neighborhood. I can see that these streets are swept in this, green color. Okay, that means March and October is when to expect the streets to be swept. City of Rio Rancho has a bunch of other great public facing apps out there. Let's go down to City of Las Cruces. And Las Cruces has put out this handy story map where the most requested data sets are available along these tabs on the left. So I can look at police districts or fire districts. I can click on a district to learn more about it. I can look at the flood zones within the city or the zoning districts. So just a nice easy, clean way to see, those popular types of boundaries and zones. And then the final one I wanted to share is from Curry County. And we're right now looking at the city of Clovis. And this is a Parcel Viewer Map, web app rather. And it's very simple, and so I can click on a parcel and, learn a little bit of the attribution about that parcel, its owner, etc. Some communities even link off to like a CAMA, property record web page from a pop-up like this. But I just wanted to show this nice, nice, clean, simple parcel app from Curry County. Okay, from here, let's talk a little bit more about each of the products that we're highlighting today. So ArcGIS Hub is, like I said, ArcGIS Hub Basic is part of ArcGIS Online. It's available to you guys today that are using ArcGIS Online. And ArcGIS Hub is enables you to create websites that let you engage with the public and share information with the public. And so what you're able to do with ArcGIS Hub is share open data, like the example we saw with the Albuquerque Wi-Fi locations. You could create sites for maybe only a department that wants to share open data. Like I've seen police departments put out specific sites for open data, or it could be an organization-wide site. And you can organize your data, maps, apps, and other content by theme. Maybe it's by project, initiative, or domain area or department. You can create as many websites as you'd like using ArcGIS Hub. So maybe you create one, central hub site for the entire organization, or maybe, like I had just mentioned about the police department, you split them out by department, or maybe you stand up a hub site for just a focused project or initiative. Like I just mentioned, it's smart to organize your hub sites around initiatives. This picture graphic, you're seeing a glimpse into some of the templates that we have. So the Hub team is working on building more and more templates to address common issues for governments, and I'll show you that in a few minutes. ArcGIS Hub also enables you to collaborate with your community. So if you were to upgrade to ArcGIS Hub Premium, which is an additional cost, that brings a bucket of what we call community identities and lets you actually enable folks from outside of your organization with accounts. And so that might be someone from a nonprofit or from a university, even someone from a neighboring government organization. Or maybe it's from the county that your city is in, or the city that you're, that's in your county, for example. But it enables you to do things like share content privately. You can do that with community identities with ArcGIS Hub as the platform or as the framework. You can message groups of people through Hub that have created these accounts. You can track on who's submitted surveys and who's provided feedback. You can support volunteer efforts using those community identities. And then with Hub, you can inspire action, right? So you can get the community involved. I mentioned, volunteer efforts. Communities are using Hub to do things like support the homeless point in time count with volunteer groups. And then, one thing that, you can really benefit from using Hub is that it sits on top of your ArcGIS assets. So ArcGIS Hub is fully integrated with the data and the maps and the apps and the capabilities that you have in your ArcGIS system. Okay, let's shift over to Survey123. Survey123 is a data collection app. And in the context of our talk today, what's so powerful about Survey123 is you can make it public facing. So you can make it so that the end user is anonymous and doesn't need to log in. Okay, so you can capture information from the public using Survey123. And so in this little animation, you can see that, you can drag and drop question types into your survey. And then you can make that survey available through a browser. There's also a field app. And like I had mentioned, that tool, or similar to Hub, that tool integrates with the rest of ArcGIS. So the data that when someone submits data through the survey, it comes into a feature service in ArcGIS Online or ArcGIS Enterprise. And then you're able to visualize the data, the results of that survey in analytics, visualizations, dashboards, all sorts of cool things. Okay, the next aspect that I'd like to cover here is ArcGIS Solutions. So this is not necessarily one product, but it's actually a suite of configurations. So ArcGIS Solutions are configurations of ArcGIS that are templates designed to meet specific business needs. And they're a starting point. It's a really nice way to get started using ArcGIS, and there are so many of them that are designed for civic engagement. So like I mentioned, they're designed to meet common business needs. They're well researched, and they use industry standards in them. They are ArcGIS configurations. They ensure that you're using the latest and greatest apps and capabilities. That's another thing you get with them is knowing that you're keeping up with the latest tech. I also want to mention they're fully supported by Esri, so that you can always call Karen and myself for support with solutions, but you can also leverage Esri tech support to help you with solutions. They can be deployed for the most part in both ArcGIS Online and ArcGIS Enterprise into your portal there. And regarding how it works, so first you need a license, right? You need a named user account in online or an enterprise portal. And then you search for a solution, explore what's out there. And then you click deploy, and it lays down the feature layers, the maps, the apps, the configurations that you need to get started. And then you plug your own data into that template, and you're off and running. So let's look at an example of what I mean when I say solution. Okay, so I chose to show the maximize capital expenditures solution. And this lives in a hub site. So a hub template is part of the solution. You can see we've got those data-driven statistics coming through, just to give kind of the broad brush of what's happening with capital expenditures across the community. And then, first app they've got here is a link off to review active projects. And I've got that dashboard pulled up right here. And what I can do is I can start to explore what's happening across the community. I can click into an active project in this list here, see its location on the map, And then on the right-hand side, see sort of its status in terms of budget and schedule, and check out any pictures that have been uploaded about that project. I can also filter all the projects across the community using type or phase or any other filter that you want to build in to your dashboard. Another solution that I want to point out is the Share Open Data solution. And with this one, it helps you get started with putting out, a sort of a general open data site for your community. And these icons are kind of cartoony looking. You might like that, or there is a really pretty amazing gallery of icons for different themes or categories of data as well. And I want to mention you can put GIS data out as open data. You can also share, everything from documents to images to spreadsheets and more. So it's not only limited to GIS data. And so these are just nice, clean templates to help you get started. And with that, let me open up an ArcGIS Hub site that I built to help you show sort of some of the under the hood and editing capabilities of Hub. So this example is a fictional community in a mountainous area that is updating a hazard mitigation plan. So looking at natural hazards that they're faced with and understanding their risks and vulnerability and how they can mitigate the harm to people and property in the future. What I didn't point out is I am actually logged into this Hub site. And so I'm able to open up this edit mode of the Hub site. So I'm going to kind of talk through the capabilities that come with ArcGIS Hub this way. This menu list is all related to this particular site. So the first item is the initiative site, and that's what we're looking at right now. And this is where I brand the site, I give it a look and feel, and I add the content to the site. With the dashboard, I can see number of views of the site. I can also use Google Analytics to get a much more in-depth sort of engagement, monitor the engagement of the site, but this dashboard is pretty handy to see how many views have happened. With teams, I can create what are called supporting teams so that you could see that I've got a link here on my header called planning team. And I could invite folks, maybe a group of stakeholders that are collaborating on this work into a planning team. And I'll show you in a few minutes that I can lock down the visibility and the access of certain content only to certain teams. So that's pretty powerful in terms of collaborating, both with the community and with groups across your organization or even outside of your organization. I can add events. There's an events calendar that comes with ArcGIS Hub. The feedback capability is Survey123. Survey123 is now fully integrated into ArcGIS Hub. So you could build a survey here within Hub, or I could go out to Survey123, build a survey, and pull it into Hub. A couple ways to do that. The community is what I mentioned, is those community identities that come with Hub Premium that enable people from outside of my organization to create an account. Content library is where I organize that content that I would share through the open data capability. And then groups manager is interesting. That's where I would point to groups in ArcGIS Online that are not my own. And I can share data from a different ArcGIS Online organization through this groups manager. Okay, so in terms of building the layout of the actual site, I have all of these different card types that I can drag onto my site. to build the content. And you'll notice as I scroll down the site and I kind of hover my mouse in the site, you'll see these boxes pop up. And so I've got configuration options for this entire row, this entire kind of brown looking row. When I click on the pencil associated with that row, my left-hand pane is the configuration of that row. Now within the row, I also have the cards. So now I'm going to click on the pencil for my text card. Oh, and it just, I actually just configured the text card right on the page. So that wasn't a good example. But you know, the buttons that pop up, you know, as I hover over that element is how I manage, really how I manage my site. So I've got this row called resources for the community. And what I'm going to do now is drag a gallery and just dock it into that row. And it's automatically pulled up the configuration for that gallery on the left-hand side of my screen. And what a gallery is it enables you to pull through different resources, maps, apps, documents, whatever you need into these tiles. So I've got those sort of queued up and ready to go, and I'm going to point to them through groups. So I've got those apps that I'd like to pull through into my gallery in a couple different groups. One's called apps, another is called web resources. And when I select those groups, those apps automatically you know, populate these thumbnails in my gallery. Ooh. Oh, okay, so I want to continue to configure that gallery because I think these edges on these thumbnails look kind of hard. So I'm going to round out those edges and give it a little drop shadow. And then I could even include buttons in that gallery. And so you can see how easy it is, you know, to start, you know, configuring, you know, your own look and feel on your site. So I'm going to save that. What's kind of cool in ArcGIS Hub 2 is that I now have an unpublished draft. And so I can actually share that draft around with colleagues to, you know, for review before I go ahead and publish that draft to make it public facing. So there's kind of a level of review available to you. And, you know, I'm happy with my new gallery, so I'm going to go ahead and publish that up. So that becomes part of the site.
Shelby.
Oh, go ahead.
Karen, Carol had posted a question in the chat asking if we are looking at the premium or the basic version of Hub.
Oh, great question. We are looking at, we're actually looking at the premium version, but the only way that I would know that is because some of these cards are available to me. And I'm glad you brought that up, Carol. And Karen, thank you for watching the chat because I am clearly not doing that. And I'm really glad you brought that up. So this, you can see this follow button on the site. It says unfollow because I'm logged in right now. If I weren't logged in, it would say follow. And that follow button is this follow card that, you know, I can hide that follow button if I want to, or I can expose it on my site. And as a member of the public, I could click the follow button and follow the initiative or project or whatever the hub site's about. And then, you know, the owner of the hub site then has your account and can do things like share content privately with you, collaborate with you, send you notifications. And so that gets at those community identities. I know that I'm in a Hub Premium site because I can see this follow card and a couple other things that only come with Hub Premium. Otherwise, it's exactly the same experience. And with Hub Basic, you have, you know, all the cards that I can see right now, you have with Hub Basic. As I continue down the page, back to our mitigation planning process, I've got a draft document linked off of my page, right? Can just go to a doc that's online. And then I've got a survey so that I'm enabling the public to communicate feedback and actually comment on the plan. So I'm actually going to close out of edit mode and let's just look at the site from here. And now I can kind of interact with this survey. So, I've embedded this survey. I could also include a link to open it up into another browser. But this is Survey123. What section of the plan would I like to comment on? A text box for comment. This is kind of a cool question type where I can actually rank the hazards, and then I can reset the hazards that are presented in the plan. And then would I like to be contacted by the planning team? No, that's fine. I could click submit, or if I click yes, then I am presented with, those fields to fill in about my contact information. I've also got an event listed on my site. I could have also presented this event in a calendar view. You have a couple of options for how you present the events. And then I've got data available if someone wants to, pull the data down themselves or just take a really close look at the data. Next place I want to go is this planning team page. And remember, I'm still logged in. So when I log out in just a minute, we'll see that this planning team page actually disappears because it's been shared only with a stakeholder group that I'm a part of. But I wanted to point out this other cool thing you can do with Survey. And this is actually an experience builder app. So Experience Builder is new to ArcGIS. It is part of ArcGIS Online, and it enables you to build an app that you have complete control over. So if you like, developing and really getting specific about your app look and feel and capabilities, check out Experience Builder. One thing you can do is integrate Survey123 with Experience Builder with actually features on a map. So, as a member of the planning team, I'd like to comment on proposed mitigation projects. So I'm going to click on a project on the map. And you'll notice that it auto-populated fields in my survey. And this is really easy to set up actually, once you get into Survey123. So, and then, from there, I can start to provide feedback on, these different aspects of the project, include a photo, etc. Okay, I'm going to go back to my main page here, and now I'm going to log out. And I want you to notice that, as an anonymous user, I still have access to the full site, but I don't see that planning team page. So there's that opportunity to, share content privately using that Hub Premium capability. Okay, I'm going to move on to Survey123. And I think I'm doing okay on time, but please do take yourself on mute and ask questions or drop questions into the chat if you'd like. Okay, from here I'm going to Survey123. So here's that same survey that we were just looking at in the Hub site. And now we're looking at it in the web designer version of Survey123. You can see my question types on the right-hand side. And then you can see the questions in the survey as well. When I click on a question in the survey, and this is the edit mode, obviously, I can configure that question on the right-hand side. So it's kind of a similar experience to building a Hub site. I want to point out a couple things. One is I have that rule built into this question. So here is the rule. And the rule is if someone says yes, they would like to be contacted or would like to provide their contact information, then show number 5, contact information. Well, number 5, contact information, is actually a group of questions. It's kind of nice. You can put questions into a group and the end user can expand that group or close it up to keep things nice and clean. But anyway, that's setting rules on questions. And let me just quickly, maybe into my contact information section, just drop a map into that section. So I could say, you know, please specify your location. And here I could, maybe we're in Santa Fe. And I could zoom the map into that area. I could change the base map, etc. So hopefully that gave you a little bit of a feel for configuring Survey123 in the web designer. The more advanced option for configuring surveys is Survey123 Connect. And this is where you can leverage some really powerful capabilities in Survey123 related to building calculations or things like pulling from a different list or adding repeats. So if you're collecting information where you wanted to keep it in one survey, but there are multiple iterations of something to collect on, you can use capabilities in Survey123 Connect to do that.
Shelby, quick question. Does
Go ahead.
123 have the ability to collect a location from a device? It's a question.
From a device? Yes, it does. Yes, it sure does. Yep.
All right, thank you.
You bet. With Survey123 Connect, one thing you can do is build a survey from an existing feature service. Okay, so you could have a data set that already exists and you want to continue to collect that type of feature or even edit existing features from that feature service. You could build this, you could kind of reverse engineer a survey using an existing feature service. You could also build multiple surveys on top of one feature service so that the different surveys are feeding different fields within the same service. Something I want to point out under this community button is that there's some pretty amazing existing survey forms out there. For example, this damage assessment survey is pretty straightforward. I wanted to scroll down and show you this fire damage assessment implemented by CAL FIRE. And so I'm going to click on that survey and say create survey. And Survey123 Connect builds surveys on top of Excel spreadsheets. So so there's a little learning curve beyond the web designer that we just looked at, but you can see that each row represents a question in the survey. And so what you do is you select the question type and then you give it a name. And let's check out this select one street type. Well, under my choices tab, I've got this street type pick list, available. So this will be the drop down associated with that question. And then it's over, in this section of the spreadsheet that you can really do some interesting configuration on a survey. And then in Survey123 Connect, I am able to actually interact with the survey as I sort of build out that spreadsheet. So you can see this is the street type dropdown that we just looked at in the spreadsheet.
Shelby,
Go ahead.
there's a concern about the location collection in the chat. Could you just read it and see what you think?
Our experience is the location isn't always collected. Depends on the end user's browser type and the browser configurations. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Oh wait, I should have scrolled up to survey one. Okay, Survey123 have the ability to collect a location from a device. And I guess I was assuming you meant a mobile, either a phone or a tablet. The browser, it sounds like Chris has had some issues with the browser location. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, we just find that that location, auto collecting the location doesn't work well in the browser surveys, but it works fine on mobile devices because usually the GPS is kind of always on, but.
Okay. Good, interesting, good to know. Yep.
Chris said that, yeah, in his surveys, he ends up with a pin sort of in the same, in the default location for all the surveys.
Okay, okay. So in that case, it might be, expose the map and have, the survey filler actually navigate to the specific location and drop the point.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's a good clarification. Thanks for pointing that out. Okay, so I know that I'm coming up on time a little bit here, but next thing I wanted to talk about is the new Solutions app that's part of ArcGIS Online and soon to be ArcGIS Enterprise Portal. So before I go there, I wanted to point out this is called the app launcher. Sometimes I call this the waffle button. But this provides access to a lot of the apps that you have with your portal. So that might be dashboards. And I talked about integrating surveys with other apps. A very common pattern is to, put the results of a survey into a dashboard. And that dashboard will update and populate as surveys are being submitted. You notice ArcGIS Hub is right here. I had mentioned Experience Builder. Well, let's go check out the Solutions app. Oops. And so with the Solutions app, you can discover the various solution templates that are available. I highlighted the capital project tracking solution. If a solution's been deployed, you'll notice there's a little green check in its box. But if I wanted to deploy the coronavirus business continuity solution, I would literally just click Get Now. And let's go back and look at how that sort of lands in your organization.
Hey, Shelby.
Go ahead.
Sorry for interruption. So it's 12:50, so I think we're about the time. So if anybody have any questions, please do ask. If you don't, then Shelby could continue for 5 more minutes, and then we could do our raffle. So people with questions, go ahead.
Well, I did have a question. At what level does the user know that they should be getting Hub Premium? Like, when would you know?
Oh, when would you know that you're using it, or when would you know that you need it?
No, that you need it. When would you know that you should order the premium version?
Good question, Carol. Thank you. I think the biggest differentiator between basic and premium are those community identities. So when you license Hub Premium, it starts with, oh gosh, Karen, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it starts with 100 community identities.
That is correct. It comes with 100. And then if you need more of those for collaboration with stakeholders on a project, or for simply allowing constituents to follow an initiative, we sell those in a bundle of 1,000 users for $1,000. So that's $1 a piece.
And so, yeah, that's a great question, Carol. If you want to truly have that two-way engagement using ArcGIS Hub as a platform, and enable those folks from outside of your organization with an account, then you need Hub Premium.
Okay, that makes sense.
You bet. The templates, I'd love to, Sandeep, let me pause and see if there are any more questions.
I think go ahead. Like, I don't see any in the chat, so unless somebody interrupts us, I would say go ahead.
Okay.
Shelby, am I correct in saying the other big differentiator is you can create your own custom templates in Hub Premium?
Yes. Good call. Yep. Yep. So if you wanted to repeat a hub site for maybe capital improvement projects or different districts, I've seen a lot of interest in building a hub site for different police districts, for example. Then you could, with Premium, you can create a template to repeat internally. Good call. This is the hub landing page. With Basic, you have access to all of the hub templates, and there are 31 and growing. So this is an interesting thing to check out. Is to look at all these.
Shelby, from Joe from Highlands, can you explain the difference between the sign up and follow options in Hub?
Good question. If you expose that follow button with Hub Premium, then a member of the public arrives at your site and clicks the follow button and creates an account that then occupies one of those community identities. I'm not sure what you mean, Joe, by the sign up experience, because that is the sign up experience, is you click follow and then you create an account. The other way that community identities are assigned to individuals is, you can invite someone to your hub site, using a community identity, but you have control of who then collaborates. So like I said, you can hide that follow button and have total control over, who's occupying those community identities.
I just noticed there's an option to put a button that says sign up, as well as an option for the follow button. So I just want to know the difference between those two.
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't know what that sign up is. Ah, to sign up for community accounts. Yeah, I'd have to go back and look. Good question, Joe. Things change quickly at Esri, as I'm sure you guys know. The last thing I wanted to mention for the group is to make sure that you're aware of this resource. It's called Learn ArcGIS. And this is a series of learn lessons. These are freely available and help you get up to speed with a capability or a product across ArcGIS. This is an invaluable resource. I can search for, we've been talking about ArcGIS Hub, so I can filter the lessons for Hub or for Survey123. There's also a section on solutions. So if I were looking to stand up the police transparency solution, I could click in here and have resources related to that specific solution. So check out this resource for getting up to speed. But I just want to reiterate quickly on the 3 topics that I really talked about. Solutions are templates, and a lot of them include a hub template as well as surveys and maps and apps. You can use what's relevant to your project within the solutions. Separately, you can stand up hub sites, brand them for your own projects. Go to town on what you include on the hub site. And also separately, you can stand up surveys. So, these things can be combined for more impact, or they can be deployed on their own. So I hope that's all clear and makes sense. And as you look to getting into these tools, please do consider Karen and myself a resource. Let us know how we can help, and keep us in touch. We're excited to see your good work.
I really appreciate the that kind of like building that you did of showing kind of how you put these things together. That was, I really liked that kind of instruction.
Thanks.
Thank you, Shelby and Karen. Any more questions from anyone? If not, we could jump to the next event, Raffle. All right, so Brian, go ahead.
Yeah. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. So yeah, typically, we always have our little raffle tickets, so a little less glamorous this go around, but taking everybody's name, put you into a spreadsheet, and then use the little Google number generator to pick a name at random. So our winner for the $25 REI gift card is Aaron Roberts. So Aaron, if you're here still, looks like you are. If you want to send me your email in like a private message, or you can email me directly. We're just going to do like an e-gift card from the website so you can buy something online or take it into the store. But thank you for attending. And then our Esri book winner is Bailey Chavez. Congrats, Bailey. And you have your choice of book since you're our first winner. So we have the, Sandy, what were the two books again? There was a
Getting to Know WebGIS and Switching to ArcGIS from ArcGIS. Switching to ArcGIS Pro from ArcMap.
Awesome. So Bailey, you've got your choice there between the two. And we're going to do the same raffle for each of the 4 talks this month. So keep coming back and maybe you'll win something. But thank you all so much for being here. And thank you, Esri, for your time and your donation of the books for the raffle and everything. We really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. It was really a great presentation.
All right, people, next week, same time, next Thursday for another talk. We'll see you then. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Bye-bye.